Namaste, good morning. How are you, beautiful world of social media? Amazing to see you. It's wonderful to come online and see the usual suspects like Lynn, hey Lynn, and Vicky. Amazing to see you, ladies. So beautiful to be with you. So I've just come off of a call with a group of women that I'm a part of. I'm a part of this beautiful mandala of women, and we support each other in different ways. And I just really felt to extend the space that was created yesterday to today to just be present with you all and to continue to share this space of openness, of inquiry and exploration. And so I would love to again just open this space up to you, to any questions that you might have, to any comments, anything that you want to share, anything at all that you want to share. And if you want to come live with me, then all you have to do is request to come live with me on Instagram Live. I'm not sure that we can do that on Facebook easily. Maybe we can. But I'm happy if you want to come live and chat to me too. But yeah, just send any questions that you have. Send through any comments that you have. Maybe there is something that's really up for you at the moment. It could be something challenging, but it could also be something really amazing, really beautiful. It could be something that you're flowing into, something that you're realizing, some amazing, beautiful synchronicities that have been happening for you recently. So yes, let's keep the space open, and please share your questions, your reflections, your comments. Good morning, Elaine. Amazing to see you again, as always. I'm so grateful that you're dropping by regularly to these transmissions. It's so wonderful to have you in the community. So, Sangha, I know that you all have something to share. I know that you have questions. I know that there's things on your mind. I know that you're noticing amazing things about what's happening, shifting in your world and in the outside world. So please go ahead and share something. Wow, everyone's really quiet today. Oh, Vicky. Oh, Vicky, used your advice from yesterday and it really made sense. Wonderful. That's so great. That's so great to hear. So I was talking about this to some sisters yesterday. You know, it takes a while for us um, you know, when we pick up these new ways of having inner dialogue, these new tools and these new techniques, it does take a while for them to really embed. So for those of you that weren't here at the transmission yesterday, Vicky had asked a question about, you know, basically how we work with overwhelm. And, you know, I shared tools and techniques of how to create this inner dialogue with the different parts of our mind, with the different energies that are working to create these thought processes. And the technique, it comes from the internal family systems model. And the technique itself it's pretty simple and straightforward. It just takes a while for us to get used to speaking to ourselves in this way, and to remember and really embed these techniques. And then at some point it becomes natural. So keep going with it, Vicky. Just keep reminding yourself and remembering that you have these tools and techniques. And, you know, that will become your default setting. And yeah, it makes total sense for me too, to just to have that internal dialogue as if you're speaking to a friend, because really remember, like, we are soul. And so when these thought processes are coming up in our minds, when we can hear like, oh, that's an interesting thought. Yes, it is a part of us, but it's another energy and entity altogether. And if we speak to it in that way, then we get have these amazing dialogues that can be really evolutionary and really helpful. So you're so welcome. Yeah. Alton, Kareem, I love what you're doing. Thank you so much. I love you being here. Do you have a question you want to ask, or something else that you want to share? Something that's up for you, or reflection, something that you'd like to share with the group? Please share. Osho King, hi, how are you? I'm really great. Thank you so much for connecting, and so glad to have you here. So, Al to Kareem, I really want to know more about the root chakra, how to balance it, and so on. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful question. And so we had Earth Day yesterday. Who celebrated in some way Earth Day? Yeah, Earth Day was yesterday, which is a day where we recognize and celebrate environmental conservation. But also, goes really beyond that, right? Because the earth is our mother. The earth is an extension of us. We ultimately are a child of this earth. We are so entwined with earth energy, and the root plays such an important part of that connection to Mother Earth, because the root, which is at the base of the spine, which is where our root chakra, which is one of our main energy points in the body, this energy is like very primal, because it's connected to the earth. So it holds this primal, animalistic energy. And when it's in balance, we feel really grounded and connected and purposeful, like we know our place on the planet, we know what we're here to do. We just feel super clear, and steadfast, like really stable, really, like really feel rooted in the earth. And when we're in balance, when our root chakra is in balance, we can feel kind of the opposite of that. So unsteady. We might feel like we don't know what our purpose is, or we lack purpose even. We may feel ultimately in a lot of fear. We might feel our fears coming up. The fear is very much associated with the root chakra, because it's that ultimate primal connection to being human. It's that other end of the spectrum. So when, as a human, we are really activated in our element, connected, we are here doing what we're here to do. We're in this love and abundance and flow and creativity and courage, and this, this real kind of heart resonance, right? And then maybe on the other side of that, if we were looking at this on the kind of the shadow side of that, or the other end of the spectrum of experience, however we want to look at this, maybe in like a dualistic way, or even not in a dualistic way, if we start to come into a more centralized, united perspective, and we see that the fear that comes up, it's just another aspect, it's just the other end of the spectrum of the love, but it shows us what is there to be healed. Those fundamental fears, those primal fears, are very animalistic. It's very much a part of our survival here on planet Earth. It's very much a part of all the fundamental aspects of our life that then we feel insecure about in some way. So it may be fear of not having enough money, a fear of not being enough, not being good enough, not being strong enough, not able to give, fear of something happening to someone that's close to us, fear of just not getting it, fear of so many different things. And it's really important for us to be able to sit with that, because it's that fear that shows us what is there to be healed. It's that fear, that resistance, which is actually our treasure. Because when we're able to sit with this and we're able to work through it, and when we do work through it, this is like our gift to the world. You know, just cast your mind back to a time where you overcame a fear, something that you felt you couldn't do or was really challenging. And then think about a time when you then shared that with somebody, that then became your treasure to share, and you felt really good about being able to share with another person, like, this is how I overcame it, and it helped them. And it gave them confidence. It gave them something, like, to give them the knowing that it's possible to overcome this and that they're not the only one going through it. This becomes what we were all teachers. We're all students and we're all teachers. We are all here to explore our own beingness, but then also to share our abundance, to share our teachings, to share our journey with others. And why keep that to ourselves? Why, share the abundance? So it's really, really important to recognize that our fears, a fundamental way of working with our fear is to be with it. Again, like yesterday, we were talking about just being present with what is arising, whether it's fear, whether it's a strange thought pattern, a discomfort, a feeling of discomfort, whatever it is. We cultivate the staying power, the ability to be with it, to face that fear, and at a certain point, we can do that with real confidence and stability and joy. Because it doesn't have to be like deep, dark, horrible, and like challenging all the time. It can be okay. It can be okay to sit with something that's arising, to kind of detach from it, to see it for what it is and say, that's not the whole of me. That's just a part of me that feels that way. It's just an aspect of me that is in fear of this. And I'm going to look at it and I'm going to work through it and give it my love. And more and more we do that, the easier it gets. So the first thing to do is to be able to sit with that fear, to be able to be present with it. So acknowledge what comes out and what comes up, and allow it to be in that space rather than pushing it away, rather than suppressing it. That's the most important way of working with the root and with the fears that come up. And then working more with the root, there are so many energy exercises that help us to release what's at the root. So many different Reiki and yogic pranayama and kriyas that actually help to cultivate the energy of the root and release what we are holding, the fears that we're holding at the root. But the thing is that we need to do these practices consistently. So if you are, so we need to do them consistently, because sometimes this energy that's stuck there, it takes time to, it wants more and more and more work and sustained energy work in order for it to be released. So please check out my YouTube channel. I have a lot of practices there. I have a lot of breathwork practices and yoga, kriya sets. I have Reiki chakra sets as well that you can do that are really, really helpful in working with all the different chakras. So please check that out. You can find the link in my bio on Instagram, and also find the links on my page, on my Natasha Anand page on Facebook. Thank you so much, Alto Kareem. You are also a blessing. Thank you so much for joining us. So, do we have any other questions? Do I speak Turkish? I don't speak Turkish, unfortunately. Thank you to all of you who are commenting. Secret Yoga Garden, yay, amazing to have you here. Fab. So yeah, I'm going to continue to take any questions from you. I see there's been a couple of people pop up on Facebook as well. Thank you so much to all of you who follow my video every day. I'm really grateful. an honor and a privilege to be here and to share this space with you all. And I just want to share from my heart and just to be here for my community. It's really important for me to just keep that connection. And just keep my ear to the ground and my fingers on the pulse and just know what it is that's going on for you all. I know I can kind of live a busy life at the moment. I'm spending a lot of time working on the infrastructure for my business. We've got a new website just being finished, which we're launching over the next few days. We're just working out a lot of how our business works, and I can get my head stuck in the computer a lot. And so I love to just go live and connect and say, hey, I'm here. What's going on with you? What are you up to? And just so to me, I have a lot of fears. And from now on, thank you. You're so welcome. Elaine, please check out the YouTube channel. A beautiful chakra set. It's really gentle. You were talking doing of the practices that you feel like you can do, and some of them that you feel that you struggle with. But it's called the chakra sadhana. It's really super simple, and it goes through all the chakras from the bottom all the way to the top with a mudra. And also using the bija sound. So sound healing is so important for our chakras. So check that out on YouTube. I think you're really going to love it. It's going to really help with working on your fears. And there's a particular technology with working with the root. So we unblock the root and the sacral and the solar plexus, and then the Kundalini energy rises and activates up here. So I can go more into that, maybe do a live transmission on the chakra system one day. If any of you, if that's like thumbs up, if that's something that some of you guys would like. So Vicky says, every time I listen to your video, it feels really relevant. So yeah, we are connected, Vicky. That's amazing. We're connected. It's really beautiful. So, and good morning from Texas. Yesterday celebrated Earth Day. I rode my motorcycle down a long dirt road and then got off and just thanked Mother Earth for being alive. How beautiful. Like being in connection and ceremony with Mother Earth doesn't have to be some spiritually labeled thing. We don't have to light a fire every time the new moon or the full moon happens. We don't have to wave feathers around it. We don't need, there's a lot out there in the spiritual world. And I know when I kind of started to dip my toes in things, I kind of felt like, it feels like often, what do I want to say? It feels, sometimes we can get really caught up with the trends, right, of this spiritual world and spiritual community. Let's just be really clear about this. I just want to be really open about this. But it can be like there's things going on, and it feels like I remember feeling like I want to be a part of things just because it looks great and people look a certain way, and there are certain groups and cliques, and then you get into conversations, and then you feel like you should be doing something because somebody else is doing it. And that there then seems to emerge a way of being spiritual or doing spiritual things. And it actually took me a while to unravel from that. And I now recognize that anything is spiritual, anything that you recognize your spirit, that's the essence of who I am, and I recognize that my spirit and I am participating in life. I'm showing up to the universe. I have a pure intention to connect and be with whatever, Mother Earth or another soul or a plant spirit or whatever. That is spirituality, and there's no judgment about what's more spiritual and what's less spiritual. I guess sometimes it's a little bit uncomfortable talking about this. I don't offend anybody, but I've been down the shamanic path. I've been down the Reiki path. I've been down the yogic path. I've worked with my own lineage, my blood lineage. I've worked with tribes from different parts of the world, and I'm me. I'm finding my own way. I don't feel like I need to conform to one way of doing things and just one way of doing things. I pick and choose the beautiful ways, techniques, tools, ceremonies, and I create my own. And I get that feedback. I get that communication from Mother Earth to keep going. And that what I'm doing is really beautiful. So, and if you are riding your motorcycle and like celebrating the rawness of this earth, like that's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Okay, who do we have here? Okay, you have another question. How am I dealing with staying calm during the COVID-19 lockdown? Okay, so I just spoke about this in my group, my sacred sister group came call with, and it's really relevant for me because there's a part of me that feels kind of, sometimes it feels a little bit bad for, kind of a bit guilty, not bad, like bad's not really, how I would explain it really. But there's been times where I felt like, wow, okay, I know people are really going through it, and many of us, it can be, many of you out there are feeling really up and down or feeling really overwhelmed. There's also a lot of fear around, especially on the news, and I really get that. And there's a part of me that feels kind of a bit guilty because I've been okay and I've been pretty unaffected by it, and I feel very stable and very calm and very clear. Now, there's kind of two answers to this question. One is that it's taken me a while to get to this point. It's taken me a lot of hard work with my energy system, with my mind, with my psyche, to get to a point where like I'm pretty rock solid and stable generally. And I generally will stay pretty calm under pressure. I know for a lot of you out there, it's just natural to be calm and to be steady, and that's really amazing. But for me, it took me a lot of work to get to this point. So there's an aspect to this question which I would say that, we have to work at this. And when we work at this, we find at some point that like we've developed this steadiness and this ability to remain calm whilst even parts of our own system are popping up, and like we have fear and all kinds of stuff, worry and stress popping up, but we're still able, the true essence of ourself is able to remain calm whilst the stuff pops up. So there's a longer term aspect to being a bit calmer, which even, this situation is giving us the training in order to stabilize into that for the future. And then the other thing is, well, I also do a lot of work in the short term as well. So I'm practicing every day to make sure I also stay within that calmness and within that clarity. I meditate every morning. I do a ritual with the earth every morning. Or an offering that I give to the earth every morning, which affirms my connection. I do a Kriya set every day. At the moment, I'm working with Kali, so I'm doing a Kali Kriya set. It's short. It's only like 15 minutes. It's very short. I nourish myself. I make sure I don't have lots of sugar. I take multi-nutrients, other nutrients that help to regulate my brain chemistry and brain health. I take walks in nature. I have conscious conversations. I do the work in the moment to make sure that I don't get carried away with certain downward spiraling thought processes. There's a lot that goes into the day-to-day work, and maintaining that calmness and anchoring self-energy. It's become more natural to me now that I've done the longer term work combined with the shorter term day-to-day work, and those two very much have to go in tandem. So my number one topic for you for maintaining challenge is, remember, the title of this session is the antidote, is that you are the antidote. It's you that holds the space in your world for you. And to hold that space, to be able to hold that space with grace, with ease, with that strength and inner resilience, you've absolutely got to carve out the time, devote the time to yourself, to show up to yourself. Make time for meditation. Make time to cook a meal every day. Make time to go outside. This whole, well, I'll do that when this project is over. It's never going to be over. That is an old way of thinking that we just need to just kick to the curb now. It needs to kind of die with the old way. Because right now, in this moment, we are being asked to develop your own individual tools and techniques for calmness, for resilience, for stress. Like, we have no choice. It is challenging out there. If you're going to sit and watch the news all day long, eat shit, stay stagnant, don't do any energy work, don't go and connect with nature, then what's going to happen? You're not devoting that time and energy to yourself, then you're going to see the results of that. So it's so important. This is what COVID-19 is asking us to remember, that we are humans and that we need to explore what it is that we personally need to be an effective, powerful, happy, healthy human. So yeah, we're being forced to be in our homes, to be with our families, to think deeply about what we're eating, be resourceful, be abundant. And this is it. This is the work that we're being asked to do. So staying calm is very much a part of this whole training that COVID is offering us. We need to see it as a training opportunity. So staying calm, again, being present with ourselves, giving ourselves the time to be, to practice, allowing what feelings are arising to arise and not feeling we have to suppress them, push them away, bringing them in, healing them in the way to be healed, being with ourselves in a way that we've never been with ourselves before. As I said yesterday, it's almost like the mind, we can treat the mind as if it's a friend that's come to us for advice, that's a bit frazzled and needs support. And we just be with our own mind in that way. And we're engaging with our mind from the anchoring of soul, from soul itself, soul energy, because that is fundamentally what and who we are. You are so welcome, Ant. I don't know what word you referring to that I said, but I'm so happy that that you're here and that you're sharing. So thank you so much. So Breeze, hello, amazing to see you. Vicky's chakras, please. Yes, absolutely. I will share a transmission on the chakras, and I'll also make that one public on my YouTube channel as well, so that if you miss it, you can check it out. Yeah, well, who else? Dan says, so true, it's personal to the individual. Yeah, like, again, there's no judgment, there's no keys. Like, it's not like, source is like, oh, you are more spiritual, so you're gonna get to ascend quicker, or you're gonna get some special gifts. There's no judgment from source. Absolutely no judgment. The most spiritual people don't even know that they're spiritual. They wouldn't even label themselves in that way, because they just are naturally connected and giving and recognizing of their awesomeness and in service. Farmers, people who work closely to the earth, who work on the streets, people who just naturally give and just are doing it and haven't even stopped to think about what or who they are some of the most spiritual people I've met. Okay, so now is your chance to share any final questions, any comments, any reflections before the transmission is over. I have some filming to do. Some of you may see over the coming weeks some adverts that I'm going to be sharing on Instagram about some of the work that we are putting out there to the world. We're really, really excited about our holistic medicine practitioner training program, which we launched a few weeks ago, and it's aimed at those of you who are healers, wellpreneurs, therapists, practitioners, those of you who maybe work on the front line in youth and community work. We have launched a beautiful online course called Holistic Medicine Practitioner Training. And it's all about supporting your journey of self-care, of healing and professional and business development. So these are tried and tested tools and techniques that we're going to be sharing with you, as well as supporting you through online coaching, one-to-one coaching. You'll get peer coaching. We'll be supporting you to develop your unique offer to the world. There's so much that we're offering as part of our course. So if it resonates, please check out the link on my bio on Instagram or on my Facebook page. Hi, Tim. Amazing to see you. So beautiful to see you. You've just come in at the end of this transmission. We've been having an open sharing space. People have been asking questions. We've been talking about how to stay calm in these times and sharing how we've been connecting to the earth and all sorts of beautiful things. So for those of you that are just joining Facebook or Instagram, I am live here every day at 11:08, connecting with you all, with sharing any just anything that's really relevant. I normally just pick what I'm being shown. I pick a topic or a theme to talk about that's really relevant in that present moment. I very rarely plan. So it's really, so whoever shows up, but that's why a lot of you are saying like it always seems to be relevant for you, because I'm picking up on your energies and what it is that you are into at that moment in time. So I'm gonna head off. Amazing, Tim. I would love to, I'd love you to be in this space next time. It's really wonderful to connect with you here, and I'm sure offline we'll connect too. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for your contributions, for your energy and presence in the group, even if you didn't say anything. Just being here and listening, and your energy is very much fusing all of our energies together, fusing, and to create this really powerful, beautiful community. It's such a blessing. Thank you so, so, so much. I look forward to connecting with you tomorrow. Check out the links in my bio on Instagram and some of the links also on Facebook. It's some of the things that I'm up to. If you haven't signed up to our free course, like completely free gifted course, which is about protecting your mind, body, and energy fields, you can find that on my bios, and you can find that on my Facebook page. Really simple but important tools for these times to really strengthen and protect our field. And remember that you are the antidote to the challenges that we face, not just COVID, but all the challenges that are facing humanity and all sentient beings and Mother Earth. We really, truly, it's us, it's our consciousness that is creating the new way. We are holding the vision for a fully realized, fully actualized vision of the future. And we hold that intention as a fully achieved, fully actualized vision. Let's hold the vision of what we see we've already achieved, what we've already done, where we've already been. And it's that we will pull into our reality. Let's not hold the uncertainty, the like, oh, well, I'm not sure it could go this way or that way. That's not going to manifest. We're not going to pull into our reality that way. We need to hold the vision of what we see has already been done. Okay. Namaste. Have a beautiful day, and connect with you all soon.